Books every fantasy reader should read or have on their TBR. Beside me, I have a massive pile of fucking books. I just pulled them off my shelf and I went, that's a lot of books, but we are just gonna get the fuck into it. Grab yourself a cup of tea and ladymair reads, settle down, and let me tell you what books you should read as a fantasy reader. I know how Flintlock Fantasy is done right. These are the broken binding editions. Read Powder Mage. Flintlock Fantasy done right. I am still chasing after the high of Flintlock Fantasy since reading this book. So any recs you can give me. I do have Guns of the Dawn on my TBR. I haven't read that yet. All of these books I have consumed. So I'll probably do an updated list, and I probably have some audiobooks I've read that I'm missing from this list. So if you want a part 2, let me know. But number 1 is obviously Powder Mage. First book, Promise of Blood. It is very well plotted. The world building is just absolutely incredible. And the character arcs through the series is pretty good. Not like Stormlight amazing, but still pretty fucking good. Dragon Rider is on this. I know it's a new series. Also his first adult work. So new book, but it should be on your TBR, mainly because he delves into the cultivation magic system that is very non-Western, and not a lot of books hardly have this. It's more in self-pub, if I'm believing correctly from what Taran Matharu said at a talk. So he put a little bit of cultivation magic system in this. If you want to see what that comes from, want to learn about it, and want to just read it, Game of Thrones, Cross Aragon, what else can you just not fucking love? It's fucking dragons, man. Obviously, John Gwynne. So many people love John Gwynne. This book is a bit slow, but you get to like the last 200 pages and it's just like a wildstorm. And he plots very well, characters are very well driven, and it's just an amazing fucking book. You will laugh, you will cry. The fan family in this, incredible. But he also wrote the Bloodborne saga, which again, amazing. It's like Skyrim and The Witcher, with the most badass female protagonist going. So everybody loves him. You have to fucking read him. Like, if he's not on your TBR, not on your bookshelves, are you even a fantasy reader? I'm also going to say, for a slight change, River Enchanted. It is adult, but it's fairy-esque. And I don't want to spoil too much about this book, but basically an arch nemesis calls back this bard to help raise spirits, but only a bard can raise spirits to help their land. That's all I'm going to tell about this book. This is amazing, very small romance plot, and Rebecca Ross can do fucking romance. Anyway, she just decides to write a romance book, I would read it. I mean, I've read Divine Rivals, but if she decides to write any more, I will fucking read it. Everybody's had this on the TBR. It's cozy, it's whimsical, you'll all fucking love it. Also, I don't have book 1. I've lent it to my boss. This is the Lucre edition, but the Jasmine Throne. This really does characters and magic system and world exceptionally well. The romance I'm a bit meh on, to be fair. I just don't think they have a lot of chemistry, but the world and how they treat women, and Bhumika, I'm probably butchering the name, Bhumika in fucking, like, her as a character is just fucking amazing. And everybody should fucking read this book, because you will not fucking regret it. You will not regret it. It's so... I don't want to just go on and say, like, it's so good, but it is really fucking good. Book 1, solid as fucking anything. This was good. Book 2 was good. Not as good as book 1, but I have a feeling come book 3, it's coming out this year, it's going to come together in the best fucking way. Everybody loves cozy nowadays. So, to know where that came from, Travis Baldree. His writing is so well done. This is narrated by him as well, and I can tell you he can fucking narrate a book. But I prefer books from Bonedust to Legends and Lattes, but if you want to understand why people like it, like that slice of life kind of book, go into this. It's so cozy. This is an orc who has been injured on like an army, gets left in town city and helps somebody restore her bookshop from going into peril, basically, but stuff also happens around that. The character Satchel Pot Roast, the dog, right, the dog, best fucking thing, best. I've read this in the time of my life where everything was a little bit stressful, perfect. Absolutely perfect. I think with cozy fantasy, read it when stuff is overwhelming, or you need a palate cleanser, or you're just so stressed and you come home and this is like a warm fucking hug. This is where you should pick this up, and it should be on people's like fancy TBRs to kind of understand why everybody likes it. And if it's not for you, then it's not for you. Not enough people have read this. This is the only reason why it's on here, because more people need to fucking read this shit. The Daughters of Izdhair, probably butchered the name. Suffragette set in like an Egyptian Muslim kind of setting, right? Where women are so underpowered and have no rights. They're not even allowed to go in the prestigious school where they learn elemental magic. But one woman gets in there because she marries a certain husband, right? Gay as fucking fuck. Everything you want in this. If you love suffragettes, you love women power, this should be on your fucking list. Go read it. Obviously, it wouldn't be a rec video without Robin Hobb. Realm of the Elderings, if you... How do I describe Realm of the Elderlings? Basically, if you like following characters and falling in love with characters and then having Robin Hobb reach out and just pluck your heart from your chest, shred it into a million pieces and then put it back, this is the series for you. I'm probably making it sound worse than it is. I'm more talking about the last trilogy, right up there, in this series. That is what she did in the last book. But this series, the character work in this is amazing. It's slow paced. I was never bored though. It's more being with the characters, learning about Fitz's stories, and just, it's so character driven. It's so beautifully written that you have to at least read it. Book 1, I've heard a lot of people struggle with it, push through to book 2, or do what I did and just fucking start at that trilogy. I think you can jump in wherever the fuck you want around the Elderlings. It does give slight spoilers, but I read all this like completely out of order. I read like the first 2 books in the last trilogy, then jumped to Assassin's Apprentice, and then just did Fitz's stories, and now I'm going back through and doing the the live ship traders, which I've read, recommend, and I'm on the Romewild Chronicles, which I've only read book 1 so far, but I still recommend them. They are phenomenal in the genre. Please read it. Obviously, I have to mention Grimdark and Lord Grimdark himself, Joe Abbercrombie. Again, more of a character-driven world in a very, very gritty world. I'm not even going to try to explain this because I think everybody's heard about the First Law. Just go fucking read it. Just don't expect a massive epic plot. Just don't. Another one that doesn't get enough love, Ninth Reign, the Withering Flame trilogy, read by Jot Davis. He can fucking read to me any fucking time, right? This book, it has kind of dragon-ish creatures, mortal creatures. It's very character driven, but also really well crafted plot that goes with it. It might look big, but it's not, because again, big font. If you like witches, if you like immortal people, if you like a character called Vintage, who is a older character who is intelligent and is like a philosopher in a kind of sense, go read this. Read this if you like, I will say if you like Brandon Sanderson, read this. If you like creatures that have been buried, that are coming back to life, and the cast of characters is trying to stop that from happening again, read this. It would not be a rec video without the Will of the Many. If you want to know what all the fucking screaming about is, read this. Don't go in expecting an absolute masterpiece, okay? Because I've heard people, the hype gets to people. Don't go expecting that, even though I think it fucking is. This is my best book of all fucking time, above Stormlight, okay? Above Stormlight. Best book of all fucking time, even above fucking Robin Hobb. Right. This is a best plotted book I have ever come across. I was not left at any point in time bored. I was like, oh my god, this is happening, then this is happening, then this, and then you get to the ending and you're like, holy shit. Every part of this book took me by storm, took me by surprise. You have to at least try to read it because it's fucking incredible. Obviously, you need to know where the genre came from. If it's not for you, it's not for you. You can skip the songs and you can skip Tom Bombadil. I'm on that hill. Tom Bombadil, take him out the story, ain't fucking needed, right? This, again, the same fucking thing. Learn where it came from. It's very lyrical. The story is really moving. Very about the, not even farm boy characters. Very about the lesser characters. They're just your Bob, your uncle kind of people. Just, oh, I just want to live my life, but I have to go on this journey now. I don't want to go, but I have to go on this journey. That's the kind of thing this is all about. Very about fan family, very about friendships. It's just, it has a special place in my heart. And so I do think Stormlight is worth it. I'm of the camp that there is nothing in these books that should be cut. Everything is perfect. The only thing I'm going to say, Kaladin's flashback chapters do get a bit long, so you can easily just skip them if you want. Sometimes they can take a little bit away from the character arc and the feeling it would immerse you in as a reader, but it's still very well done. It's a very well plotted book with incredible fucking characters and a world that is just so immersive. You just have to fucking read this shit. Those are my recommendations for every book a fantasy reader should at least have on their shelf or at least tried. If you have any recommendations down below, drop them in the comments. I will probably try reading them and get back to you. And I hope you enjoyed this. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.